back in Azerbaijan for the FP3, and we had a more traumatic session with a very high velocity wind that picked up, almost giving the drivers a run for their life. Unfortunately, they were able to get closer to the times they were doing in FP2 yesterday, but when they started, it was off. And we saw the upgrades that some of these teams brought. Red Bull brought some few upgrades we've not confirmed, but Ferrari brought the front wings, a trimmed rear wings, and also the Mercedes brought a revised front wing. Those are the teams we can confirm the upgrades they brought. But it is very, very interesting when the wind picked up and we saw that the front runners yesterday were not running at 4 again, because on this ground effect cars, any little thing tip it off, your setup will change. And you have to be very careful, because if you change your setup now, hope it won't compromise your next run or your next session. Now, if you change your setup for FP3 because of the wind, and the wind changes in qualifying, remember when you're locked in qualifying, you're locked in for the race. What do you change to? Will the race be as windy as today? So a lot of coefficients, a lot of things to look at, a lot of data to look at, to bind up and to come to a conclusion that this is what we are going to do. This is how we're going to set the car up for tomorrow. But we saw the McLaren come back on top. So Lando Norris being able to weather the wind and come out strong. Max Verstappen giving data to the team to be able to weather that storm, came out strong. We saw Carlos Sainz did a pretty decent job for Williams. That Williams is very strong on the straight line. And we saw Lewis Hamilton coming fourth in the FP3, and it looks very close, about 2-3 tenths away, which shows how close this is going to be in the main race and in qualifying, because the qualifying will be a little bit different as velocity of the wind would have changed. A lot of things would have come in place, and we hope for more a friendly one. And because of the wind, you had a lot of drivers unable to know their braking point. When you know your braking point and you're trying to brake too late or you're braking too early, just go up to the runoff area. Go up to the runoff area, else you're out in the walls. Yellow flags popping up like popcorns, and all this affected the driver's run for us to really get where and who will really be closer in the qualifying. Because when you're doing your best lap and possibly somebody ahead of you or somebody way ahead of you clip the wall, yellow flag up, go into the runoff area, yellow flag up, reduce your time, so you are unable to quickly, those little times you lose, you are unable to get back. So all those things happened and affected their runs. But we are going to see a beautiful qualifying. The qualifying is showing that the Red Bull and the Ferrari are going to take the bunch of the bunk to McLaren. It's not going to be an easy weekend for McLaren. McLaren might come to this weekend and think, oh, they are going to win their Constructors' Championship. But with what we are looking at from the Ferrari and the Red Bull, it's showing that, yeah, you guys can win it, but it will not be easy. We expect that to happen, and we expect the lower teams to come up, and we are going to see a very different qualifying. Also, we are looking at the Red Bull seat. Who is going to be in the Red Bull seat next year? People are looking at Haja, but like I've always advised, I would say Haja should not go up to that seat, because that is a seat that messes drivers up. Yes, he needs to challenge himself. He needs to be better. He needs to look for something more challenging, more competitive, which I always advise. But when you're going into a seat that doesn't look like he's welcomed, maybe with a lot of McKees, it might be a different seat. A lot of drivers have gone into that seat since Daniel Ricciardo. Only Sergio Perez has been able to weather this storm. So all those other drivers, you can see the rookie driver Liam Lawson messed him up in 2 races. He's still struggling in Racing Bull, though he's having some good runs. But now in Racing Bull, he's trying to build up his career so that he can stay in Racing Bull at least next year. They're looking at David Lindblad coming up into Racing Bull, so that will be a little bit twisty and dynamic. So let's see how that will be. But going into qualifying is going to be more interesting. So let's see how qualifying goes. Yeah. What a qualifying for the books. This is one of the best qualifyings. Every race, every qualifying keeps getting better, keeps getting tougher and getting crazier. And that was what we got today. Max Verstappen on pole. Big congratulations to him, because the chaos brought excitement and it brought the anxiety, the unexpected, because at the point we're thinking it's going to be guys that we don't expect to be on pole. But unfortunately, Max Verstappen was able to nick it thick and tidy and got a pole position in Baku. What a great race we are expecting tomorrow. It's going to be crazy, because the top 4 in Baku the top 4 to start is crazy, and it's going to be beautiful. But let's start from where it all started from, because this is the record-breaking qualifying. 6 red flags, breaking the 5 red flags in 2022 Brazil. That is something else. Now, it started with Alex Albon bringing out the first red flag to be out in Q1. The second red flag, Nico Hülkenberg, but he was able to come back, nick it thick and tidy. But unfortunately for him, he was not able to get out of Q1. One fun thing about Baku is the red flag keeps coming out. Your strategy for qualifying and for race, you are start planning immediately there. That is when you are planning your strategy for race qualifying. You don't want to overuse or overcook your tires because you are having tires in the softest region, the C6. Why they brought the softest range of tires is because they're expecting these guys to be able to look at, okay, how do you go from this to this, as in have 2 or 3 tire changes, so that it can be so interesting. The strategy can be split. So, and we looked at it all through the weekend. We are having people complain about the soft tires, when people even using the medium tires as qualifying tires. Their tire looks like a tire for the race, and medium tire. So you're going to qualifying, red flags just start flying around, and when red flag flies around, you might be on a new tire, it spoils your run, it destroys your run, so you are going to start over again. In Q1 we had 3 red flags, Franco Colapinto bringing out the last red flag, and I look at it that himself and Poleron, like Flavio Bertoro said, are the one fighting for that position in our opinion. And I think this guy deserves that position, Jack Doohan, because he was impressive in the first part of the season. The under pressure man, Franco Colapinto, put it in the wall, and that made the 3rd red flag in FP1, and it was just chaos. But when the chaos keeps coming, we had some drivers that are able to settle in, some teams are able to settle in to plan ahead to see, okay, well, these are the things they need to do to be in the qualifying. And we had Colapinto 16, Hulkenberg 17, Ocon 18, Gasly 19, and 20 Albon. Like, Gasly was unable to do a very well qualifying. I don't even know what Colapinto was thinking. His teammate ran into the runoff area, was looking at him and he was accelerating. You know what he's thinking. Hulkenberg, a bad one for him. Ocon too, they were unable to get out of that Q1 because of the incidents that were just happening sporadically. So it really put them on the back foot. That is the essence of Baku. Lovely Baku. So went into Q2 thinking it is going to be better. Bierman touched the wall. Another red flag. And that red flag really impeded a lot of drivers, and teams started to jumble on the brain of what they would do, and a lot of mistakes were made, and that put Lewis Hamilton out in Q2. What a great one for Ferrari, because I keep thinking about the strategy has always messed Ferrari up. Though Lewis Hamilton said they went into a different direction that will help them in the race, but if they had a better tire warm-up, he's used his medium tires, and he can't use any medium tires except for tomorrow, so he could not keep running. He asked them if he should come in. They said no, he should stay out. So he did 6 laps on soft tires, which really affected him. But tomorrow might be a better day for Ferrari, because they had a very worst day when Charles Leclerc in Q3 put it in the wall. Charles Leclerc put it in the wall in Q3. But in Q2, we had Alonso out, Hamilton out 12, Alonso 11, Bortoleto 13, Stroll 14, Bierman 15, and Verstappen started showing pace, the sign that he's out there, he's there. Then Leclerc in the world on 15. It was interesting. I can't say he was on cold tires, and I can't say he was on hot tires. I can't say what was really going on in his head, why would he just put it in the wall. But he could not really get the breaking point and went to the wall, and that was the end of the session for him. Destroyed the front end of the car, which means I have to change setup. Probably he may start from pit lane, but wow. But those that said the time before were Sainz, Lawson, and Hadjar, so they were still there. But unfortunately, the rain started, everything just went haywire. Who will get the pole position? Oscar Piastri put it in the wall. The 6th red flag, it was out. And all these things affect the psychology of other drivers and decisions they make, and that almost affected their decision. But the cool, calm, gentle Max Verstappen understood what he needs to do. Norris puts himself under pressure, and everybody just wrap it out, bim, in the final stint of the Q3. Max Verstappen came out on pole. Beautiful one. Carlos Sainz could not improve or make it better. He was in P2, starting alongside his old teammate Max Verstappen. Liam Lawson, a better job for him that he has done the better time in the first part. That's P3. Antonelli outqualified his teammate. Great one for him because he's under pressure. He has been a driver under pressure, but this weekend he has done a beautiful job. Ramp it out. Better one for him. But unfortunately, what happened? He outqualified his teammate. Russell starting behind him. That's why I think 51 lap race tomorrow will be filled with strategy, decisions, and a lot of excitement, because they are going to change a lot of things. They are going to make a lot of changes. A lot of opportunities are going to come for these drivers, and it's going to be very interesting because the wind picked up a toll today and affected a lot of people. It's going to be one of the most exciting ones because we are going to expect the unexpected. Those ones ahead might tumble down, but I think Baku has shown us driver on pole has not won the race. So will it be different tomorrow? The slipstream from the rears, like from people like Antonelli, Liam Lawson, might make a huge difference and put Max Verstappen under pressure, and drivers with fast cars would come forward. But how will it impact the race? You don't want to miss the 51 lap race tomorrow, starting West African time, 12 p.m. Catch you guys tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Cool.